Nice things that maybe make this. Just start, okay? This is the important issue. I'm going to tell you, that's going to be a superior for you. Is that I guess You're both in the second. Yeah. We don't have that yet. You don't have to read. Can't complain. What was that name? Sit here. Did you get to my address? It's not the right number. Well, that's not the. That's the right conversation. See anything else? Yeah. What is it? It's amazing. Yeah. So in there. Get back.
And give back and move forward. That's how. When everyone comes in. And then you have to go into the. Readers one. And then it should be better. Then, if you find it. And put that in there, the three dashes. Hit the three dashes. And go to the leaders for. Then it gives you everybody. The 4,300, the 2,000. Thank you. What's that? See the names. That would be good. See, these guys have to. The match your first $2,000, but they think it's not totally. That's just what was given to each of those entities. The match was just. No. See, that thing's got more. It's that, they don't go out. It must be.
Oh, that's what made them. The elevator. I love him. Because he is.
Which you live in the bathroom. This you probably recommend. Because young kids get really expensive. Prayer.
Once I'm easier.
So that's fine, just-
What is this? So we have.
Okay, by my clock, it says it's 5:35. So I'd like to call the meeting to order. And before we go any further, though, I really would like to request that Commissioner Middendorf lead the rest of the meeting. I just think it's too awkward doing this through Zoom. It's a little bit better just taking care of the meeting from the dais. So if as long as everybody's okay with that, I'd assume since Dave's done this before, he just steps in and takes it from here. Does that work?
Do that.
And I hope I can understand you guys. Man, this is hard to hear, but we'll see.
Okay, with that said, would you like to join me in the pledge of allegiance? Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under public comments, petitions, and memorials, this time we'd like to recognize Officer Lorenzo Mendez and Deputy Richard Rockwell, who were awarded the Kansas Association for Chiefs of Police Valor Award. Officer Lorenzo Mendez was dispatched to a residence in Hiawatha for a person who was armed with a handgun and who was making serious threats to himself and others. Officer Mendez arrived and made contact with the subject. Officer Mendez stood in the open doorway and he noted that there were potential victims in this home with the armed suspect. He could not retreat from his position as the other persons would have been left in danger. Officer Mendez engaged the person in conversations to defuse the situation. Deputy Rich Rockwell arrived to back up Officer Mendez. He joined Officer Mendez in the open door and helped to engage the subject in conversation. In the face of the serious dangers to themselves and other innocent persons, they worked together, talking with the distraught individual. The person eventually voluntarily gave up the weapon for a peaceful outcome to an extremely dangerous situation. No one was harmed due to the bravery and teamwork exhibited by Officer Mendez and Brown County Deputy Rockwell. On Friday, April 19th, 2024, they were invited to attend the annual Kansas Association of Chiefs of Police, where they were awarded with bronze awards for valor. And on the award was inscribed, an award to recognize outstanding achievement above and beyond normal law enforcement responsibilities and duties. Officer Mendez and Deputy Rockwell acted bravely in the face of serious danger. We are proud to recognize their award for their valor, as well as the teamwork exhibited for a peaceful outcome in this incident. So we want to recognize and congratulate Officer Mendez and Deputy Rockwell for their bravery and their ability to defuse the situation and to receive this award that was well deserved. So thank you. Anything to add to that, Nikki?
All the law enforcement, we take a group picture with you guys. That would be nice.
Sure.
Thank you.
Get the closer to us, we won't hide. Only if I get a chance.
Thank you, guys.
Oh.
So.
Thank you, guys. We're very, very proud of you. Be safe out there.
Next up, we have Richard Jarvis from the Hiawatha Tree Board. Good evening.
So we wanted to come and talk to you about something the tree board has been kind of process of planning preliminarily for project for next year. So over the last 2 years, we've been focusing some attention on ruining soccer fields. We've been planting a windbreak along the north and west edge of that soccer field, and have plans to expand that windbreak a little bit further south, so we go the full west edge of that soccer field. You should have a map of it with something like this. Those 4 yellow lines would represent rows of trees and shrubs that we would plant. And we've been in cooperation with Luke Terry with the Quail Forever group to plan this. Primarily, Matt Sprague, one of our board members, has been in communication with them. There would be 2 rows of shrubs and 2 rows of trees. The Quail Forever would also contribute resources to this project. The reason we think it's of interest to you guys is being mindful of that development being planned right there. This might encroach a little bit into the area that you guys are planning for that. So we just wanted to get this in front of you as early as possible in case it does have any impact on that. We think it would be, good for wildlife. That's why Quail Forever is involved in this. And it would also provide a visual barrier between the soccer complex and that new housing development. So you get, visual aspect there. It probably wouldn't provide as much of a windbreak advantage as the trees further north, because there's a bit of a slope there. So they would be sitting a little bit lower, and the trees that would go in there would be eastern red cedar, so they don't grow quite as tall, but it would provide that wildlife habitat and that visual barrier. So we wanted to get that in front of you. So that, yeah, any planning for the development would be aware, you know, that project is kind of in its preliminary stages. We would like to do this next year. The other thing I wanted to ask, partly from these discussions, so currently we have an annual budget of $1,000. And as you can imagine with trees, you know, with resources and the actual purchase of trees themselves, $1,000 doesn't stretch very far. But also, you know, as we apply for, you know, additional funds, a lot of times they like to see, you know, some matching funds to go with it. In addition to that, we have an annual reapplication process for Tree City USA that requires, you know, a spending of $2 per citizen to qualify to continue to be that Tree City USA. So just doing, you know, the rough math on that, that's about $6,000 a year. We were able to claim, you know, line items from other budgets like streets, the street sweeping that's done every year, and then limb collection and things of that nature. We can count that toward that, as well as volunteer hours. But you know, it's a bit of a juggling act, I'd say, when we reapply every year to make sure we got all those funds covered. So those are the two items, I think.
So you're asking for a donation from the city for $1,000. That's what I heard.
An increase in annual expenditure.
We give you 1,000 a year.
That's right, yeah, we get 1,000 a
So
year.
you want more than 1,000.
That's right.
Okay. I have a question for him. On this wildlife habitat. Is this similar to the one that was on North Fourth? Were you here then?
No, I'm not sure.
You're shaking.
This would be, yeah,
That was more like, that was more of like a pollinator type thing.
Yes,
They were planting some wildflowers, things like that.
and then there's a
even a
mess.
weed patch, but they would be looking for these and things like that, so it would be a completely different scenario.
yeah. The process for this, it sounds like this is something that Quail Forever has done before, and they have an implement that they use that, you know, it prevents weed growth
I like the
between
idea of the trees.
yeah.
Where you said they've done this before, do you know where this has been done?
That I'm not sure. I just know just with Matt Sprigg, one of our board members, in communication with them, and it sounds like he's kind of seen this before, that they have an implement that will kind of, I don't know, for lack of a better term, sort of plow in these rows, and then it folds the ground back over, and there's weed barrier there and everything, so it's ready to go. We just plant the trees in those furrows, and then it covers them back up and should prevent weed growth. And
I think they roll out a plastic or some sort of a fabric material between the rows or in the rows or whatever to help them maintain the weed growth. And they have this machine that rolls that out somehow. We don't know how it works, but they
Well,
get the trees planted and it folds dirt over these rolls so that the wind doesn't catch it. And I think they told us that the tree board would have to fund the rolls of that material, that they would furnish the trees and do the work and
right,
provide that machine or whatever.
yeah,
What we understand.
yeah,
And like Richard said, we like to just get it out in front of everybody, so we haven't proceeded real far on this housing project, but we wanted to get that, make that known that if we can encroach onto that land some without messing up the housing project, and we think we can make this work if everybody's okay with it. And then another thing I thought of was that we're cleaning out a bunch of dead trees, or Stacy's getting a bunch of the trees out of the lake cleaned up that are dead or dying or not desirable. And we would like to come up with a plan to replant a bunch of stuff out there to trees growing again and shade trees and that's, which that will take some money. So.
Right, right.
I was just curious, because I just, the trees I'm in favor of, I was just making sure it wasn't the pollination.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I live over by there and it was not good.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Brad's working on putting the budget together, so I guess we'll take it under advisement, and see where we're at. We roll up the numbers,
Appreciate that. Yeah.
decide what we're gonna do.
All right. That's all I have for today. Thank you.
Any other questions for Rich?
coming.
Oh, yeah. Any questions?
Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Richard. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is Aaron Memorial Library.
Good evening. I did bring with me extras of our newsletter, which has everything I'm going to talk about this evening. If you'd like a copy of our newsletter, I don't know if I can pass that around to everybody or not.
Mhm.
Yeah, that should be one. Summer has kicked off this last week at the library, so we have been full of everything, of programs and of people. We've had over 100 signups in the first week for our summer program. I put in a lot of statistics for our 2023 year. I won't read every single number to you because that's not very exciting. But one of the things we do like to highlight is the total services that we provided at the library in 2023 totaled over $1 million. And we calculate that with numbers that we get from other states that use a spreadsheet where if we had so many programs, those programs are multiplied by the average amount that it would cost for someone to go do a similar program somewhere else where it's not free. So that totaled over about $1 million. And so the item checkouts, so if a DVD costs $20 and it was checked out 5 times, that goes towards $100 for the item checkout total. So for the items, it was over $500,000, and then the value of services that we provide also includes meeting room reservations and reference questions asked that totaled over another $500,000. So it's always nice to just keep those numbers handy to show people all the good things that we do for free and for services and other things checked out from us. And we also didn't do our other calculation for the tax revenue that we get. We like to look at that as, so we got over $184,000 in tax revenue last year. So with the value of services, that came out to be about $5.57 per $1 invested in the library. So we just like to highlight that to show all the things that we do for our community. We had over 500 programs with over 4,300 in attendance at all of those programs last year. I had almost
Looking at, excuse me for
Yes.
interrupting.
Sure.
Are you looking at that someplace?
Well, so in the very, I should have said that at the beginning, in the very middle of the book, I put in my director's report. I have loose paper that I stuck in just right in the middle of everything. So that's my report that I brought with me today. There should be,
These.
yes, those papers. So the very first page says director's report at the top. And I included those statistics in there.
Gotcha.
Yes, sorry, I should have said that when I passed them out. The rest of the booklet is what we have available for anyone to pick up in person. We also have a digital copy available on our website for the rest of the newsletter booklet. I tend to drink a lot of coffee in a day, so I do just keep on going when I start talking. So thank you for stopping me. But otherwise, we had almost 20,000 people come into the library over the whole year, and all of those other good stats that we keep for the other numbers there. Other things we did over the whole of last year, we started our Creative Hour program that is spearheaded by Joey May, who is now one of our librarians. And so every week we have 2 different sessions for Creative Hour. Anybody is welcome to come and create different craft projects. And it got so popular that we have started reaching out. And so we bring people in from BCDS to participate in those. And then we also go to some local facilities to bring the crafts to them. And we also got to start up our homebound patron program, so we're able to take books to other facilities. For people who cannot physically come to the library, we were able to do that, and that was with the help of Kendra Oldridge. We're able to continue that after she graduated from KU. She helped us start that back up. Our friends of the library did amazing last year and this year. They were able to raise donations for our elevator project. And so not including this year, otherwise they've raised over $74,000 for the total cost is over $143,000 for our elevator modernization project, which is, I believe, pretty similar to what the courthouse went through. Other than that, we've raised an additional $67,000 through grants and other donations. And so we have got the work is going to start this summer, and we're just shy just a little bit because we suddenly had extra costs when they came in and told us what had to be brought up to code with the state of Kansas. We weren't made aware of that until after we said, yes, let's do it. We've got the money, but we're very close to raising the last chunk of that for our elevator. So that was a lot of our highlights for last year. And then other updates so far for this year, just this past weekend, of course, was the community match days. And our friends of the library raised over $18,000 over the weekend. And we're just very thankful for all of our donors that contributed towards that. This year's match days dollars will go to our guttering and roof project, because that is our next big project after the elevator gets done. We have Yankee guttering that hasn't been refurbed in a very long time. So we'll need to renovate our gutters, which also then includes parts of our roof that need to be done as well. And so we've got a good foot in the door, started that with our friends money from this past weekend. And otherwise, our summer library program has kicked off, like I said, and we're really excited about our passport program series this year. We're having local Hiawathaans come and present on their worldly travels. We have Antarctica, scuba diving, the Appalachian Trail, and then our final one will be a presentation on Amelia Earhart for this summer. So we're very excited for that. Just this morning, I think we had 30 to 40 kids at each of our programs already today, and they came by to play our weekly Plinko game that we have for weekly prizes to take home different adventure-themed prizes that we have. And of course, I didn't put it on my direct report, but we're also very pleased that our Bev Sunderman in town, she won an award from the Friends of Kansas Libraries for an Outstanding Friend award. And so she will be presented with that at the Kansas Library Association Conference in Wichita later this year. So we're very excited. She has done, she's helped us write many grants and is always a great supporter and champion of our library. And so the rest of the things I've included of my other papers was just other updates. We have statistics from just 2023 and other items if you would like to look at it. I included our 2025 budget because I know Brad started on it. So I included what our board has approved for our tax revenue income. And if anybody had any questions, I just like to include our elevator budget, because sometimes we get questions on how that gets broken down. And the very last page is just that we were part of a survey on what goes on if a city owns the library property in the building, how that interaction happens. So we usually just tuck that in after we participated in that survey from the other libraries in Kansas. I got feedback for that. So, I mean, I know I talked very quickly, so I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has anything.
Get a whole new roof, or they just gonna fix the roof and new gutters, or what?
At this time, we've only looked into the parts of the roof that interact with the gutters. From what I understand with the Yankee guttering is that they kind of blend into the roof line and they have to remove the first layer of the tiles to get to it. It's not the whole new roof. And then we do have a leak in a couple spots. So just like flashing around the chimney and part of the roof that is over our front main entrance.
Have you had a roofing company look at it?
We've had Unruh come out and look at it. Yes, we did that quite a while ago. Just see what it was. But we were still raising donations for the elevator at the time. So yeah. Yes.
This may sound like a strange question, but on your special programs, how did you find people
Oh, to do that? Well, really, Joey May, she is our community services librarian. And since she worked at the paper, she kind of knows a lot about who does what around town. And so she just reached out to several of the people who she knew went on different trips. And they agreed to come in and do a presentation for us.
Okay.
We thought it would be nice to do Amelia Earhart during the same week that they have their festival in Atchison.
Any other questions?
Yes, but not on this.
Well, thank you for your report.
Absolutely. Thank you. I do have another question.
Okay,
I'm curious, I guess this is a twofold question.
okay.
Have there, in the last 4 or 5 years, have there been any books banned from the
No.
library?
We have been very fortunate to not have anything like that come up for us. We've just had a few, polite parents have questions about maybe something that's labeled. But we have not had anything challenged or anything like that come up for us. We have a very
Okay, that was my other
Good
question.
communities, yes.
If there were any concerns from parents?
No, not in general. The last one I can think of happened before a renovation in 2019 or something like that, and it was just a question on a label for it. So that's what I'm aware of.
Would the community be notified if there was a ban on a book or books?
That is a good question. We don't have that in our policy currently. We've been working closely with our library system and on creating policies on how to approach that. And it would come up in a board meeting, which is public knowledge. If anyone would like to go look at our board minutes. And I don't think that we would probably make it too public, but I'm sure it's possible that the other party would try to make it public, but I don't believe we have anything in our policy at the time.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mayor Schaefer, did you have any comments or questions?
I also wanted to comment, didn't you just have something today about it, like a bowling session for somebody? Sorry, I'm trying to get my thoughts around. Just a friend of mine went to it. Go ahead.
Yes, we had Helen Martial Arts. Is
Yes.
that what you think of?
Yes.
That was one of our special programs today. The rest of our Tuesdays this summer, we'll have the K-State Extension Office is doing several things. Since they weren't able to come today, we have Helen Martial Arts come for anybody who would like to come and do it. They did one for the younger kiddos this morning at 11, and then they came back at 1 o'clock and did another session for the older kids. Yes.
Yeah, I just brought that up because I think it's kind of a neat thing that you're bringing in a wide variety of things to do. I mean, who would think about martial arts coming into a library? And so I appreciate just the variety.
Yes, we're very excited for all the different things we get to do this summer. And Helen Martial Arts, they are actually going to several area libraries around town. They're at Falls City, and we are very happy to have them. It was all on anti-bullying and how to fighting is not the answer for everything, but how to defend yourself for anti-bullying.
I'm sure you'll be happy to eventually get that the elevator project
Yes.
out of the way.
Yes, the day that
Get your
we
roof fixed, and then you can
yes.
concentrate more on it.
On anything else. Yes, we're very excited. They're supposed to start the work in about mid-July, so we're very much looking forward to it. I believe it was the day we started moving items for our renovation that the elevator stopped working for the first time since I worked there. So we've been working towards
Hopefully we're faster than one of the court.
Yes. Yes, that's the hope. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Aaron.
Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Brad, did you want to comment on any of that?
Just that on the Midwest Public Risk invoice, that $159,632 does represent a 21% increase over last year. This has been something that I know there's been a lot of organizations been seeing this. This is something that I know that previous administrator talked about maybe looking at and see what we could do with that. And so I'm going to be moving forward in that area too and seeing if we can maybe sort of.
It's a big increase.
That that's a pool of other cities that pool their money together for this insurance, is that right?
That's correct, yes. And that's just our property and liability insurance there.
Yeah. I was looking for that in the budget, but I think that's broken down and spread out over
It's spread out
all the
over
departments or something. So
every fund, yes.
I couldn't figure out how much it cost last year.
Yeah, it was right around, I believe it was it was right around 120, it was $120 some thousand last year is what it cost us. I think. Yeah. But it was $120 some thousand last year.
Comments on the consent agenda? We got a write-up from the Thrivent agent that wants to use a couple of parking spots out front of this building for fundraising event. Well, with that, I'll entertain a motion.
All in favor?
No, I gotta-
I'll make a motion.
First.
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as read.
Second? I'll second. Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any other discussion? Jane?
Favor?
Aye. Motion passed. Next item is new business, the trash bids, Brett.
Yeah, so last Friday on the 24th, we opened up trash bids again. These are the trash bids that we decided to go back out to rebid for. They were sent out, we sent those out to the same group that we sent them out before. Once again, we got two bids back. One was from Miller Trash Service for $1,053 a month. The other one's from Hamilton for $1,500 a month. Once again, the amount that we have for citywide cleanup isn't gonna make much of a difference as far as like the total goes. So it's gonna be almost a $500 a month savings here. And so my recommendation is that we go with Miller Trash Service. It's gonna be a 3-year contract for the amount of $1,053 per month.
I had a question at the bottom of the bid form from Hamilton. They mentioned that they were picking up, they were doing some other stuff that wasn't on. Let's see, where did I read that? Maybe that was on your note.
He just doesn't charge for the barrels and everything for the
Yeah.
citywide pickup, is what he said.
There was a few things that he was doing. This is something that's never been on any bid that we put out there. Some of the things that he was talking about, we aren't aware of what those are, to be honest with you. But like I said, we've been going off of the bids of what we've done previously, and that wasn't on those bids previously, so
So you don't know what additional work he was doing and
No.
Okay, I'm just curious what that was. We had to make that up somehow somewhere. Okay.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So when I just look at this, they don't charge for the citywide, Hamilton doesn't charge for the citywide cleanup. And Miller does $300 plus $45 per ton. I mean, how close are we getting to, I have no idea how much trash gets picked up
So
during citywide.
normally, what we end up seeing on a citywide cleanup, I asked Herb this before he left. We end up with 2 dumpsters normally, so that would be an extra $600. And just the extra money per ton would not make up that, that it's, what is it, $447 difference per month. And so if you multiply that out over 12 months, then we're still saving a lot of money going with Miller and Trash Service.
That's what we talked about last time.
But I can check into that. That's one of the questions I had as well.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion to accept the bid from Miller Trash Service for a 3-year contract for trash service for the city of Hiawatha, including citywide cleanup for the price of $1,000. 1,053 per month, but I don't know if they're not including the citywide. So that's not right.
It's 1,053 per month. And then it'll be with $300 per dumpster on the citywide cleanup and $45 a ton of all off.
So that means, I don't know if we.
The way that they're going to charge us for that, they'll probably charge us separately for that one. And so the per month will still be 1,053. And it's gonna depend on how much we actually use during citywide cleanup. As far as what that actual will be.
We just change it to excluding
Yeah,
citywide
we
cleanup
did.
for the price of 1,053 per month.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
I'll second.
Evan seconded.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the bid from Miller Trash Service for 1,053 a month for a 3-year contract. Any other discussion? Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carried 5-0. Next item is patrol vehicle purchase. Vicky.
This item's in the CIP for this year. We budgeted 55,000 for a new patrol vehicle. Since 2022, we've reduced our average age and our average mileage of our vehicles. And we're trying to do that some more by purchasing a newer Dodge Durango, 2023 Dodge Durango from Superior Emergency Response Vehicles. They're in Andover, Kansas. We've purchased 2 previous vehicles from them. They do the installation of everything. We provide them with the radios and the camera and the radar, and they put that in with everything else in the console. So they prepare the vehicle and sell it to us. They have a price of $53,872.89. So it's under what we have budgeted in the CFP for this year. And I do hope to be able to sell 2 older patrol cars and help reduce the mileage, help reduce our costs. We currently had 1 excess vehicle. When I first started in this position, we have 1 extra car that we don't need. So we're trying to sell 2 vehicles on Purple Wave this year, and that'll help offset this cost. Reduce our commitment to mileage and repairs and maintenance for the vehicles. But on this, we're asking for the approval of the purchase of the new Dodge Durango 2023 patrol vehicle from Superior Emergency Response Equipment from Andover, Kansas, for the amount of $53,872.89. Questions, comments?
Have a motion?
I have a question. And
Yes, ma'am.
this will give you how many vehicles?
This would put me at 10 until I sell the other 2, and then I'm down to 8. So I'm trying to reduce our total fleet.
So does that give each officer
No,
a vehicle?
there's not enough. There's 10 total patrol officers. So no, there's not one for each individual officer, no.
Do we have a motion?
We'll make a motion to approve the purchase of a new Dodge Durango patrol vehicle from Superior Emergency Response Equipment in Andover, Kansas for $53,872.89 with budgeted funding in the CIP fund.
Have a second? I'll second it. Jane? Or is there any other discussion? Okay.
All in favor?
Yeah, I do. I guess I just don't understand why we have, why do we need so many vehicles?
Because when I started the position, we had 8, and then we have to collect an extra 9, and I'm trying to reduce it back down to 8. The SRO has a vehicle, I have a take-home vehicle, the captain, and then the rest are patrol vehicles at the office. And the investigator usually takes one home as well, because he might get called out. So then we need patrol vehicles. Sometimes we have 2 or 3 on
So
shift.
you have 4 that are take homes.
Yes,
I guess I just never,
There's 4 vehicles that are taken.
pardon me,
There's 4 vehicles that are taken.
and then. Okay. I guess I just never realized that Okay.
Yes, I've carried an extra one for what, 2 years now. I don't want to. Insurance and maintenance costs. So
Yeah,
reduce
that's
it
what-
back down to 8 at least.
I guess that's my main thought.
Yeah, and sometimes I've had an officer comment that, hey, we need another patrol vehicle because they were doing the STEP program. And 3 or 4 guys come out and they're down to using all the cars that are available, so.
But 8.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
Is
Jenny?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carried.
I have a side note if I get in on the stoplight. We've, since the light was turned back on, the officers have stopped like 67 vehicles, 21 citations. We've had to do 15 citations for the stoplight. When the time that we can be up there to try to get everybody acclimate to the signal being back on. So they're still working on it, but it's better. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
Next item is ultraviolet room upgrade.
Good evening, everyone. The last disinfection point of the wastewater plant is at the ultraviolet room. 2 years ago, we upgraded one bank of lights. We have 2 banks of lights. There's 24 bulbs in each bank. And we upgraded bank 1B and with new bulbs, plugs, wires, and cords. This system is 19 years, will be 19 years old in December. So before we went too much longer, I got with Brad and I thought we better get this upgraded because a lot of the plug-ins on the bulbs are not going in. When the bulbs plug in and without disinfection, our E. coli is off the charts and you know where that goes with KDHE. The cost of the Trojan upgrade for this site, bank 1A is $45,385.56. $50,000 was budgeted this year for this upgrade. The permit requires through KDHE the E. coli levels, which are affected by the intensity of the UV lights, be at or below numbers depending on the month. And I'm just here to my recommendation is to approve the replacement of bank 1A at the wastewater treatment plant UV room.
And this would make the UV bank fully operational, is that correct?
Yes. Yes. Since it's been put in 18 and a half years ago, we've never did a full, the hydraulic lines, there's wipers on there every so many hours, they wipe. We put this ActiClean in there, they wipe to keep the intensity of the bulbs good. If not, they just get green or black. And obviously without lights, I don't have to say what happens there, but no, this will be, both sides then will be fully upgraded. I hated to have 2 years in between, but that's just how it went, but I mean,
I asked you once before, but how long do those bulbs last?
those bulbs, they intensify with the flow, they ramp with the flow. And those bulbs, barring a lightning strike, that's the worst thing that can happen. Those bulbs there's 48 bulbs and they're about $400 a piece. So yeah, even putting them in, it's like doing surgery. I've never done surgery.
Replace them, I guess.
We clean them at least twice a year, but every year we try to get in the budget to replace all of them, which is
So
all
yearly,
of them.
you
Yes.
can you work with one thing, put the other one in service?
Yes, we can. We can go back and forth like that. Thank goodness you can, because we've had a lightning strike to not pull things out when Dave was here. We've had that happen. Where one bank kept us going until we got the bulbs, but yeah, it's a lot of, and this is bulb replacement too. This whole price is, the wires, the new cords of and it's hydraulic in there, the wipers are.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve the replacement of bank 1A at the wastewater treatment plant ultraviolet room for $45,385.56.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second to replace bank 1A. In the water treatment plant UV room for 45,385.56. Is there any other discussion? Okay,
all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, Dominic.
Yeah, I have another item, I'm talking to Brad about. We talked about this, a few weeks ago. I've been limping along, but, we thought we'd talk about it tonight, and Brad was looking at the funding for this. On our belt filter press pump replacement. A few months ago, I won't say I drug my feet. I've been trying to figure out why we're not getting the sludge. I thought we had it plugged. Me and the guys at the plant have did everything. We came down to, and I called the people that built this, and they, we've never replaced this pump. I mean, we've had good luck, but it's not. When I open the valve and throw in sludge, clear 30 feet, we have sludge. It's coming in. The pump is worn out. I've been limping it along for the last couple of months. Like I said, I wouldn't call it dragging my feet. I was trying to figure out why, and it's the pump. And so I called, get them in a second. And it's in Illinois.
Liberty Process Equipment.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, yeah. I can't read them on the right. Liberty Prop Equipment in Illinois, that's who made this pump. And a new pump is $11,172. That's without installation. I told Brad, I'm not real worried about the installation. We can try to but the pump itself is $11,172. We went through a series of battery tests trying to figure out, I was hoping it wasn't this, but we went through a lot of tests, and we've been limping it along. We ran it today. We run it 3 days a week, usually. We put out about 8 tons a day. And it keeps the biological balance of the plant. Like I said, this didn't cover the installation of it, but I'm confident.
And rebuild the pump, I'm just asking.
We could, but it's gonna take 8 to 10 weeks to get a brand new one. If we build a pump, we can't run it at all. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I've been limping along. Like I said, maybe I waited too long. I don't know. We were trying, me and the guys, to unplug if something was plugged, but we're not plugged. We
So
get
how old is this pump that that's there now?
18 and a half years. The sewer plant will be 19 years old in December. We've never replaced it. The only thing we've replaced on the belt filter press, besides the bearings and everything a few years ago, the VFD, we've replaced it, but the pump is never. Now, we don't have to replace the motor, thank goodness. This isn't nothing to do with the motor. This is just a pump. So I couldn't imagine with the pump and motor are together, but the motor's running fine.
And I was looking at Dominic's budget today, and there is $25,000 available in sewer system maintenance. In the line item, thought that they could pay for this out of.
It's not gonna get any better.
Yeah, I thought about that too, the rebuilding, but I don't know how many weeks that'd be. And right now, we're at least running it. It's taking an extra day to get a truckload of sludge. if we don't keep the sludge out of the plant dies and I'm.
No, we get.
It'd take a little while, but
Well,
I've been running minimal sludge out of the plant for the last couple of months. I'll take that one. But I've been trying to figure it out. We've been trying to figure out.
You gotta figure it out. Have a motion to replace the pump?
I make a motion that we replace the pump for glasses. For $11,172 for the purchase of the pump and not installation.
Yes. No installation.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion carried.
Thank you very much. Any other questions?
Well, don't call me to help you unplug.
You're the first one. Thank you very much.
Whoa. What did you-
Okay, Brad, do you have anything else for us this evening?
I have nothing else this evening. I've been trying to get caught up after my vacation, so I've been making a lot of phone calls today and trying to catch up with residents and from last week.
Mayor Shamberg, do you have anything for us?
I have a few things. First of all, I'm currently at an school administration conference, and so I've been able to talk with the new Hiawatha principal, Rhonda Wright, and she just commented on how when she was down at City Hall getting various things, signed up for and getting ready to move in, that the City Hall office, that all the ladies there were extremely helpful. She pointed out that Deb Christian was wonderful to work with. And I just always appreciate that that's, the face of our city is when you come into City Hall to talk to people and get things set up. So she was very complimentary of that. And she actually was there the day of Herb Rowland's retirement luncheon or whatever. And so she was part of that, which leads me to the second that I just wish Herb the best, as he's moving on. And then the final one was I've been noticing, of course, we've had more than our share of water breaks lately. And so kudos to our crew that's getting out there and getting it fixed as quickly as possible. Cause there's no time and when that's going to happen. And at any time of the night, they're out there and they're getting things fixed up. So just shout out to them as well.
Okay, anything else?
Nope, that'd be it.
I'd like to give a shout out to the Give Back to Move Forward fund drive that occurred over the weekend from the Hiawatha Community Foundation. Virginia Freeze is president and we've got a pretty good sized board. Looks like they raised over $231,000 before the match money. Well, I'd just like to thank that board for all the work they do to put that on. It's very well organized and it appears to run very smoothly when they do that fund drive. And thank all of the community for their donations to that fund that provides resources to a lot of nonprofit organizations that I would guess would help them quite a bit with their own programs. I think I read that they've exceeded $1 million over the last 4 years in total donations. So that's very commendable to the community and to the board that puts that on. So I want to give them a thanks and shout out. Evans.
I don't have anything to see.
Okay. I'm sorry, I skipped you, Brian. I'm sorry. But you want an order here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna add a little bit to what Becky Shamberg said about the water line. I want to just thank Rick Koenig for coming out and helping find a tough valve to find. Sometimes you gotta call the old sensei out, and he walked right to it almost. So it's very important that he's recognized. He didn't have to do that, and he was more than happy to do it. And I think the guys and everybody did a great job. It was a deal. So it was very, very important and nice for him to come out and do that.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay. Commissioner Hall.
Well, once again, I would like to certainly thank is not the word. Officer Mendez and Rockwell for their valor and their award. Job well done. And that's why I always tell the officers and all the guys to be safe when you go out there. Hope everybody had a great fun weekend. The one thing I do want to say is we are coming upon budget time. And we are looking for ways for our streetlights, and people are already asking for more money than we gave them last year. So I would like for us to be aware of that and give what we do think we really can give. Anyway, that's all. Thank you.
Any other comments? I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Celebrate.